The Greek election on Sunday, June 17th, can be seen as an attempt to clear up a central contradiction in Greek public debate. And that contradiction is that on the one hand, the Greeks say they would like to stay in the euro by a big majority. But on the other hand, they're fed up with the austerity budgets that the rest of the Europeans are imposing on them. I don't think the election will clear up that contradiction straight away, because it's going to be followed probably by a process of negotiating a coalition, and that could take a little while. But I think as that negotiation plays out, there are three things to keep in mind. The first is that some economists will say, look, if this process does result in Greece leaving the euro, that would be okay for Greece, because there would be a devaluation of the Greek currency, the new drachma would fall, and that would provide a boost to Greek exports and therefore a stimulus to the economy. I think that's a mistake, because I think that leaving the euro would also trigger very high Greek inflation, and that would quickly erode any competitiveness benefit that you get from a weaker currency. And along with the inflation, you'd probably get a lot of civil unrest. It's not clear that if the main export sector in Greece is actually tourism, that a society undergoing high inflation and some civil disturbances is going to be the obvious destination for fun-seeking tourists. So that's the first point. Greek exit, not a good idea for Greece. The second point is that some people think a Greek exit could be okay for the rest of the Eurozone. And I also think that's a mistake. The reason is that if Greeks do leave, any household with a deposit in a Greek bank is going to see that deposit converted from euros into drachmas, and the drachmas will lose a lot of value. And seeing that, other Europeans in maybe Spain, Portugal, Italy, and so forth will think, I'm not leaving my money in my domestic bank. What if the same thing happens here? I'm going to take my money out and put it in a Dutch bank or a German bank or someplace safer. So you get a bank run, which, by the way, is already happening in a slow fashion, especially in Spain, but would accelerate hugely if the Greeks did leave. So that's the second point. Greek exit, not good for the rest of Europe. And the final point is that if by some miracle the European leadership showed more kind of coordinated determination than they have so far, and managed to do the kind of double act of letting Greece leave, but ring-fencing and protecting the rest of the Eurozone, I think that that too would in the long term be catastrophic for Europe, because there would be a sort of self-cancelling nature to the success. The reason is that there would now be a precedent that a country like Greece can leave and it can be okay for the rest of Europe. So markets, next time there is some form of crisis, and the question is, will the rich countries like Germany bail out the peripheral country that needs a bailout, the markets will say, why should German taxpayers help those other countries? Because there's already been a demonstration that one country such as Greece can leave and the rest of the system can be preserved. So those are the three things I think you have to keep in mind as you watch the post-election politics in Greece. It's certainly going to be an interesting period.